There is a chance for the President of the United States to use this disaster to carry out what his father, a phrase his father used, and that is a new world order.
So is this some sort of a new world order?
President Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis.
I think a new world order is emerging.
Rich country, poor country. G7, G20, a new world order.
One of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance.
Those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
Conspiracy
government.
theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
Yeah.
2009 is also the first year of global governance, with the establishment of the G20 in the middle of the financial crisis. The climate conference in Copenhagen is another step towards the global management of our planet.
Thanks. How are you? Nice to meet you. Merry Christmas to you.
Hi, how about you for Christmas give myself some documentaries on the Federal Reserve, globalization. I want to ask you your opinion, the New World Order, good or bad?
Not good. If it's going to take our sovereignty away, that's not a good thing at all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So that was an easy answer to an easy question, but keep in mind, 10 years ago, if you would ask any politician their opinion on the New World Order, they would have said, you're a conspiracy theorist. So why ask Huckabee for his opinion on the New World Order? Well, there are a lot of people out there that think Huckabee is going to be their next pick for president, their next conservative candidate hopeful. So why ask Huckabee? Well, when Huckabee was running for president, he chose, as head of his foreign policy, he chose the president of the Council on Foreign Relations. That's Richard Haas. He's the president. And if you're not familiar with the Council on Foreign Relations, first of all, check this clip out. It's really quick.
An agreement was reached. The policy of the papers was bought, and an editor was placed at each paper to ensure that all published information was in keeping with the new policy. Soon, that policy would be defined by a front group formed by J.P. Morgan and his colleagues. In fact, Morgan's personal attorney was founding president of the organization, the Council on Foreign Relations. Today, the CFR maintains that its goal is to increase America's understanding of the world. However, the actual objective of this highly exclusive club is revealed by the rare admissions of the insiders themselves. In the early 60s, a Georgetown University professor collects information for a book favorable to the network of powerful men who founded the CFR. For 2 years, Professor Carroll Quigley is allowed to examine the confidential papers and secret records of this network. Quigley reveals that these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world. And the CFR is their most visible conduit for carrying out that agenda.
Who are your principal foreign policy advisors, Governor?
Well, I have a number of people from whom I get policy. I'm talking to Frank Gaffney. I talk to Richard Haas.
And just in case some of our viewers aren't familiar with some of those names, Frank Gaffney served in the Reagan administration at the Pentagon. Richard Haas served under Colin Powell during this Bush administration over at the State Department. He's now the president of the Council on Foreign Relations.
So the Council on Foreign Relations has written tons of documents, articles, calling for a global governance with nation states giving up their sovereignty. One of those more famous documents is this one right here by the Council on Foreign Relations. It's Building a North American Community. In it, they call for a greater focus on the borders on the northern and southern part of the continent, more so than the borders of the nations. And Richard Haas has really been a big advocate for this. He's written a few articles. Well, actually tons of articles and assessment reports, but a couple that are more famous. One is Sovereignty and Globalization. In this article, he says states must be prepared to cede some sovereignty to world bodies if the international system is to function. He also says that globalization thus implies that sovereignty is not only becoming weaker in reality, but that it needs to become weaker, and states would be wise to weaken sovereignty in order to protect themselves. And this is from the president of the Council on Foreign Relations. And when Huckabee was running for president, we never heard him say that he was against this. And he actually put Richard Haas as head of his foreign policy. However, with Mr. Ron Paul, you can see right there, he was openly against NAFTA, NAU, WTO, and this was what he ran on. And Huckabee was asked about Richard Haas and the CFR and his presidential campaign. He said, they're intelligent people. I know some people say they're a globalist organization, but I trust them. They're intelligent. They're experienced. Grassroots activists have confronted Richard Haas, and this is what he had to say about sovereignty.
Hi, Mr. Haas. Just wants to thank you for coming over. As a very concerned American citizen, and as your Bilderberg member, I just wanted to ask you how we can make sure that U.S. sovereignty isn't threatened by meeting in secret with royal family, bankers on an industrial level. Just what can the American people know that it's not being threatened?
What else we got? Happy to do that.